30 seconds and counting.
Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's Anish, and we have some more Texans head coach updates for y'all. I know y'all have been dying to hear more news about it, so here we go. And before I start, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below for more news. And without further ado, let me get started. And so, according to Josina Anderson, multiple sources have told her and have been notified that Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon was informed as of yesterday he would not be receiving the head coach job for the Texans at said time, and the process is ongoing. And to me, this makes a lot of sense because Jonathan Gannon, he's still employed by the Eagles. He has to decide whether he needs to focus his energy on the Eagles or the Texans. And this whole interview process has been preventing him from focusing on his team that he's still employed with. So yeah, he has to do things like personnel wise, coaching, and still they still have to do all these things in the off season. So yeah, I think Jonathan Gannon, he just doesn't have the time or flexibility or the luxury to give with the Texans, and I feel like this is the Texans situation right now. I feel like Brian Flores has to be their guy right now because Josh McCown, he's already available. Why haven't the Texans hired him yet? And so I feel like the reason why there's so much weight is that with this NFL lawsuit, the Texans are still trying to work out the details and things like that. So I feel like Brian Flores is the #1 favorite, but if anything falls through, that Josh McCown will be the backup basically. And Jordan Schultz, a guy who's kind of on and off in terms of credibility, he said that he spoke with a few coaches and assistant GMs that they anticipate that the Texans would hire Josh McCown as their next head coach. And one assistant GM said, quote, Brian Flores is a good coach, but Nick Caserio won't want to deal with everything else. Josh is well liked, and he's the safer choice. And to me, I would take that with a huge grain of salt because Nick Caserio, he runs a very tight operation. He doesn't have too many leaks. So what would assistant GMs or coaches know about what's happening in the Texans building other than people in the Texans building? And so I'm very skeptical of that source. And NFL Rumors, an account that's caught a lot of flack recently, but they've been on the money in announcing the Jaguars hire of Doug Peterson and the Dolphins hire of Mike McDaniel before the verified guys and Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. So, and they said that the Texans have made their decision that Brian Flores is very likely to get the job, and so for them to feel that way. Kind of gives me some kind of relief. I know it's not like a clear-cut thing from a verified person, but that's something to hold on to. And just more why Flores seems to be the guy. Like him becoming unexpectedly available led to us firing Cully. Part of the reason firing Cully, in my opinion. And he was the #1. He was the first guy we interviewed. I believe we interviewed Flores on the 14th, and we interviewed McCown a few days afterwards. So to me, Flores is their guy. So they're just working things out. And to me, when people say that if McCown's hired, it really shows the influence of Easterby, and there is truth to that statement. Obviously, we're the only team interviewing McCown, only team brave or stupid enough to interview McCown, and he got an interview last year too. But to me, I don't think Easterby's a defining factor if McCown gets hired over Flores, because Easterby also has a connection with Brian Flores, and so I don't think that's what separates the two. I think it would have to be Nick Caserio going with an unknown in Josh McCown, and go for his potential upside over a known in Brian Flores. But then again, Josh McCown has a very, very low floor, failing really, really badly just because he has no coaching experience. But Brian Flores, we know what he can do with elevating roster talent and whatnot. Obviously, they haven't gone to the playoffs or anything, but he was still able to have 2 out of 3 winning seasons. And his first season there, it was like a rebuilding year. So there's not too much he could do with that. And so, but yeah, to each his own, Caserio, he would either go as a genius if the McCown experiment works out, or he will go as the biggest idiot in NFL history, and he has to be on the hot seat immediately, right when he hires McCown, because the media won't let him have it, but Nick Casario clearly doesn't care about the optics or what the media thinks. And so, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of concerns over like who, like why would the Texans even consider hiring Josh McCown? Like to me, he's already like at the same level as Cully in terms of positives, in terms like leadership, like leading a locker room. Because that was one of the few positives from Cully. But as far as in-game management, if he can be better than Cully in any way, any degree, then he's already an upgrade. And I know we're not looking for just upgrades over Cully because that's a weird way of like kind of gauging a hire, like an upgrade over the last guy. But like who's like the best guy for the team? Who's available and who's the best guy for the team? And Brian Flores, he does have the upside of like attracting free agents because his suit against the NFL is pretty admirable, like fighting for diversity and things like that. And players would want to go, like play for a guy, who's standing up for things like that. So, I think that's just one of the things we have to consider with Flores. And Flores, there's obviously the concerns of like why do you have so much offensive coordinator turnover and things of that nature. So like yeah, but with McCown, obviously the huge downside of having no coaching experience. But if it works out, this opens a whole new pipeline for players in the league who want to go straight into coaching, things like that, and they won't have to work their way up the ranks. And McCown, I feel like if we're looking at positives here, McCown he was older than Jonathan Gannon, Ken O'Connell. I think he's older than Brian Flores. I'm not sure. He's like 42. Josh McCown's 42. He has more total NFL experience, but obviously coaching is a whole nother beast. So we can't really compare, but yeah, those are my thoughts on our final two candidates in McCown and Flores. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Thank you all for watching. Peace.